After a tragedy of this magnitude, there's always one question that just drowns out everything else. Who did this? Today, we're going to break down the incredibly complex investigation into the 2025 Delhi bombing. It's a story with a ton of conflicting clues, some serious international intrigue, and, well, a desperate hunt for the truth. So let's just set the scene. This is the exact moment it all happened. A regular Tuesday morning right in the middle of rush hour in one of the busiest, most vibrant cities on the planet. Just a normal moment before a single event changed absolutely everything. You know, this one quote from someone who was right there, it just says it all, doesn't it? It captures how brutally sudden this was. One second, you're hearing the normal sounds of a city, and the next, it's just fire, noise, and total chaos. Right. So in those first few hours, the focus wasn't on who or why. It was purely about survival and rescue. You had a city, and really an entire nation, just reeling, trying to get its head around the scale of what had just happened. And things unfolded with terrifying speed. At 9:17, the explosion hits. Just 8 minutes later, think about that, only 8 minutes, the first responders are there, walking into an unbelievable scene. Less than an hour after that, the entire city is in a state of emergency. And by 11:15, the Prime Minister is on TV, promising the entire nation they're going to find who did this. So, as the dust, literally and figuratively, begins to settle, a whole different kind of operation starts to spin up. Right there, amid all the wreckage, the painstaking search for clues gets underway. And this is the official start of one of the most intense investigations the country has ever seen. And here it is. This is the central question, isn't it? This is what's driving every single thing that happens next. And it's a question that would lead investigators down some very, very different roads. Okay, so what did they find at the scene? Well, every little piece tells a story. The explosive was C4, which is a stable military-grade material. That, plus the high-frequency detonator, tells you this wasn't an amateur. This was someone who knew exactly what they were doing. Then they find traces of a component not made locally, which immediately raises international red flags. And then there's this, a tiny, partially burned SIM card. A little piece of plastic that might just hold the key to this whole thing. So with this first batch of evidence, investigators get hit with a flood of information. And a lot of misinformation, too. Right away, several different theories and potential suspects start to pop up. And this right here shows you the main conflict at the heart of the investigation. On one hand, you have a known domestic group, the Crimson Hand, who puts out a video saying, yeah, that was us. But almost immediately, the government pushes back, saying, no way. They argued the bomb was just too sophisticated for a local group, and that this points to a powerful foreign country being involved. So you've basically got three main players on the board here. First, the Crimson Hand. They have a clear motive, they've done smaller attacks before, and they've publicly claimed it. Then there's the New Dawn faction, a much more shadowy group, who were mentioned in some encrypted chatter just before the attack. And finally, you have the most worrying possibility, a foreign state, whose motive would be to just create chaos and destabilize the whole region. The evidence for that? The sheer technical skill needed to build that bomb. And you gotta remember, an attack like this, it's never just local. The shockwaves were felt instantly all around the world, from government buildings to stock exchanges. Just look at that number, $4.5 billion. That's the estimated immediate economic hit from this, from the stock market tanking to local businesses being paralyzed. It's a pretty stark reminder that terror attacks aren't just aimed at people, they're aimed at confidence, at stability. And the response from other countries was immediate. You had over 50 nations officially condemning the attack. Almost 30 of them put out travel advisories, which shows you how nervous this made everyone. But here's the important part. 11 countries immediately offered real, tangible help with the investigation, basically signaling a united front to get to the bottom of this. So where are we now? Weeks later, the picture is definitely getting a little clearer, but that central mystery is still very much unsolved, even with teams from around the world working on it 24/7. The investigation has really become a methodical three-front war. First, that crucial SIM card is being torn apart by global partners, looking for any scrap of data. At the same time, intel agencies are trying to figure out if that Crimson Hand video is real or just a bluff. And deep in the financial world, you have experts literally following the money, trying to trace the purchase of bomb parts back to whoever paid for them. And this is where it gets really, really tricky for investigators. It all comes down to this concept of plausible deniability. See, if a foreign country was involved, they'd be smart enough not to do it themselves. They'd use a proxy, maybe a group like the Crimson Hand, to do the dirty work. It creates a perfect smokescreen, allowing the real masterminds to just say, hey, wasn't us, making it almost impossible to find that smoking gun. Which, of course, leads us to this final, pretty unsettling question. In a world full of sophisticated plots, digital decoys, and complicated geopolitics, finding justice is one thing, but will the full, unvarnished truth of who was really behind the Delhi blast ever actually come out? Well, that remains the most challenging question of all.